Hello and welcome to Wild Kingdom Devotions. Yes, I'm starting a new series, and this will be the first, and I'm going to have them continuous, weekly, called Wild Kingdom Devotions. Uh, Today, I'd like to share scripture, Psalms 42:1, that says, "As the deer pants for the water, so does my soul pant for you." Just like a dog panting for water. Deer in this Wild Kingdom Devotions. Deer. Deer has meant a lot different things to me than just watching a deer along the road or in the woods. I grew up in Michigan, and in West Branch, Michigan, uh, deer was not just an animal in the woods, it was an event, it was an industry. A lot of guys would go hunting with their sons. There was a real big deal about hunting. Matter of fact, in West Branch, Michigan, November 15th was a school day. Everybody was off of school that November 15th because it was opening day of deer season. They closed the school down because most of the guys are not going to attend school anyway, especially in high school. They're going to go hunting with their dad. And so it was a huge event. And it was real important because you had to thin the deer crop out in those northern Michigan cities because of the danger along the road. A few years after high school, a number of years after high school, I went to nursing school, and one day on the way to my clinical, driving into the hospital, I hit a deer. Oh, it was traumatic. Killed the deer and wrecked the car, missed a day of clinical. Very stressful time. And so when I think of deer, sometimes I think about those busy times of hunting deer and watching out for deer along the road so you don't hit them. But that's not what the scripture is all about. The scripture talks about watching the deer in a gentle stream as it pants for water. So my soul pants for you. Instead of looking to God like busy and all the things that we could get from God, maybe we should step back and just think of nature and that beauty of the deer panting for water. Let me explain that. Seems like the only time we come to God is when we have needs. God, I need this, I need that. And here lately, I've come to God several times because I've had friends die. Just recently, acquaintance and friend that we had, their son died. A friend of mine, their wife has been in the hospital. There's friends that have nieces that are sick, and you're praying for them, and you're seeking God for asking Him for things, rather than maybe we ought to come to Him as well for that, like the deer, as the deer pants for water. So my soul longs after you, Lord. You ever get a hot summer day and you're working? It feels so good to get that glass of water. Oh, it's soothing, and it's cold, and ice cold water. And that longing and that thirst is done. You're so thirsty, and you get that thirst quenched. Maybe that's what that scripture's talking about with the deer. Do we long just for the presence of God? do we long just to sit and say, I want to stay in your presence and your calmness in the midst of the storm? Today, I'm not asking you for anything, God. I just want to be like that deer longing for our communication, longing for us just spending time together, God, longing for just closing my eyes and being with you. As that deer longs for that cold water from the brook, Lord, let me now just long for you. Why don't you sit in his presence for a while today? Why don't you just sit there and say, I'm not asking for anything right this moment. I just long for peace with you, Lord, as the deer pants for the water. Hey, thank you for joining me for Wild Kingdom Devotions. You got another animal you want me to do? Give me a suggestion, because I've got a whole series that I want to do on Wild Kingdom. Thanks for joining me, and if you've enjoyed this, pass it on to somebody else, and I'll see you next time.